Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you that are actually watching, those of you who have caught us live. It's me, Mr. B, joined today by Phil.
Good
Um, I'll,
evening.
I'm going to let him introduce himself once the show gets started. But today we talk Jude Bellingham. Who was the other central midfielders that we might be able to get? Declan Rice and Frankie De Jong. We're also going to have a little chat about a right back situation that seems to have reared its ugly head all of a sudden. Guys, this is the Man United agenda. Good evening, Phil. How you doing, man?
Yeah,
I finally get to meet you in the flesh. How you doing, man?
finally, yeah, it's great to be on the show. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really good. I'm a lot better tonight than I was last night because, yeah, last night you couldn't pick me up off the floor. I was just like, I wasn't worth speaking to last night. I wasn't angry. I was just devastated. I was absolutely devastated.
Was it numb? Was it a numb feeling? I'll be
That's
honest,
exactly
I
the
was a
word I
bit,
used.
yeah. Mm.
Exactly the word I used on social media. I just used the word. I just posted the word numb, and that was it. Nothing else. That's exactly how I felt. I think, and I think it's because of how far we've come. We feel that now. You know, if you go back a season, maybe 2 seasons ago, oh well, lost again, or didn't win, but we've come to expect different now. And the fact that we're making the progress that we are, we're making the strides that we are with Ten Hag. I think that going to performance. I know some people have said, "Oh, we were unlucky. It was the last minute. It was a great goal and stuff." But at the end of the day, De Gea made two, let's be honest, worldy saves,
Mm.
which kept us in the game. One at 1-0 and one at 1-1. 0-0 and one at 1-1. Sorry. So they certainly had their chances, and I didn't feel that we created that much at all. I mean, obviously there was Casemiro at the very end where it came off his thigh, off his left thigh.
Mm.
You just right if you use the other side of his body, he might just tapped it in or knocked it in or fell on it or whatever. But it just wasn't meant to be. Just was not meant to be. And that image just remains in my head of where Casemiro just turned around and went. He's like looking at. I think he was looking at Varane as if to say, "Sorry, mate, what am I supposed to do? Bruno didn't play it properly, you know." But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
and then the camera pans to Ten Hag, and Ten Hag just like that.
It's yeah.
And it just shows you the magnitude that the difference that Casemiro has made to the squad because
Yeah.
everybody was devastated. When the manager shows it like that, you just know it. And the whole fan base was just like, "Oh, that's it. We've lost the league now. We're out of it. We're coming." It's like, "Oh, come on,
Where, where,
meltdown City."
were we ever in it? Were we
Do you know
ever
what,
in the
mate?
race?
I think, do you know what? Anybody else in the league in that position, if Liverpool had been there, and it had been, all the pundits would be like, "Oh yeah, Liverpool's are only a few games behind. They've got Arsenal at the weekend," or if City were in third, they'd be saying the same thing about them. No one's ruling out anybody who's below us, in terms of like Chelsea. All right, they're having a really, really bad run. I think Arsenal are obviously a favourites at the moment. City and Newcastle just won't go away no matter how much we try.
Mm.
It was our big chance last night to get into second. I think it would have been the first time since Fergie, something like that, at this time of the season. And we blew it a little bit. We did blow it up a little bit. But I think we looked tired. I think we looked lethargic. I think, if I'm honest, I think Rashford, if you'd have played that game 3 or 4 games ago when he wasn't going for the record, I think he might have played in a couple of square passes instead of trying to go for the shot. I think he wanted the record in the back of his mind, and I think that impacted his game, in my opinion.
Mm.
I've not seen much of that said on social media, but I was just keeping that to myself until tonight, sort of thing. But yeah, that's my opinion. I think he played a different game last night. He was so. You could see moments where in other games he'd get the assist, he'd take the assist, he'd play the pass. He maybe even do the 1-2. But last
Yeah.
night he was just like, "I need this goal. I need this goal." It's like, no, and I think that was a mistake. I do think that was a mistake. I don't know if you want me to speak about Weghorst or not, but
Yeah, go on. Yo, yeah, I want. What
yeah.
did tell you what you first? I said you weren't on, so it's nice to get it from
Okay,
before
mate.
we go on
So
to our subject.
I,
So yeah, go.
I know that he's only trained with us for a couple of days. But my disappointment with Weghorst was not that he didn't score, the fact that he just didn't look in the game at all. Maybe he was thrown into it. You know, he had that one opportunity, which was a header, and it went over the bar. But apart from that, I didn't think he did that much. There was moments where you think whether he didn't seem to have pace. I don't know whether that was just lethargic or if he just generally doesn't have the pace. We're used to seeing the likes of Rashford, Garnacho, Martial, who have all got pace. Who have all got pace, and you know we're used to seeing them sprinting, chasing that ball down, and we just didn't seem to see that last night from Weghorst. I'm not going to rule him out after one game and 2 training sessions, absolutely not. You know, I'll back him till the end of the season. But to me, he didn't give any like moments of like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. You know, no moments of excitement that put him in the lineup for the next game, can't wait, sort of thing. My thoughts at the end of it was like, let's get Martial back quick. Let's get Sancho back.
Hopefully Sancho will be back. Sancho will be back pretty soon. I've got one from you here. Look at that. Right on cue. There's a question for you there, Phil. Do you think Sancho will be ready for Saturday?
I think when you see the way that Ten Hag's managed his players so far, I think when you look, anybody who's been out injured, generally he's phased them back in or had time out. Even if you look at like Martinez came back from the World Cup, he phased him in. You saw him against Charlton. He looked underperformance. He wasn't ready for the City game. I called it on the other show, on the Realist TV show actually. I said that I did put him in the lineup, but I said I'm not sure he's going to start him because he just looked short of match fitness. And I think with Sancho, I think he needs to I don't think he'll start him. He may be on the bench depending on the options available. What he won't want to do is put him back under the headlines, of like, oh, Sancho's on the bench. What difference is he going to make under the limelight? He's going to want to phase him back in, give him a chance, preferably when we're like 2-0 up in a game or something. Or desperate for a goal and just trying to put every forward play up that we've got, sort of thing. So I don't believe he'll start him unless injuries come around that we're not expecting. I think he's going to phase him back in and just give him a couple of 20 minutes here and there at the end of a game if things are going well, or if he thinks he can make a difference. We don't know what he's seen in training. We don't know what's been going on behind the scenes. We don't know how much of it has been fitness training or mentality training or both. I compared it to the Rooney situation when he went away, when Fergie sent him away, when all that was going on in the media, and he sent him over to America. I think he went for about 3 or 4 weeks, and he came back a different player. Nobody really knew what was going on. There was a couple of images every now and again of him on a training field, but I feel like something like that. They've kept it under wraps wherever they've had him. They've had him, sort of underground somewhere. But he's
training in a cave with no Wi-Fi.
Right, absolutely, yeah. But I like it. I like it because Ten Hag's style is very much like, right, let's get you out the limelight. Let's deal with the situation, whatever the situation that he knows about. Let's deal with it and get him in. Emma, yes, Sancho will be eased in. Absolutely, that's exactly what I think he'll Ten Hag will do with him. I don't think he'll throw him in at the deep end at all.
Right, guys. Topics for the day. If you have joined us late, I do see a few comments in the chat. So, True City fan, yes, you were here first. Talk MU, we see you, man. I'll get on to I've started a couple of them, so we'll get on. So look, we've been linked. Obviously, our priority signing will be a striker, I'm going to assume, in the summer. But we've been linked to 3 central midfielders: Bellingham, Rice, and Jong. Guys in the chat, this is for you guys as well as you, Phil. Out of those 3, they're all going to cost over 100 million, in my opinion. Who would you take, Phil, and why? Guys in the chat, and who would you take and why? Let us know. If you are new to the channel, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We need to get some likes up, or Solo's going to keep me up on here all night, guys. 30 likes before the stream ends. Thank you, Phil. Over to you, big man.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I think I think if we're going to have to pay, let's say we're going to pay the same price for every one of them, let's say 110 million, just put a figure on it, something simple like that. I don't think Rice is worth that much, based on what we've seen. And I know you can be different in a different team, absolutely. But I also know, from what you hear and read in the media, there's obviously a fight up for him. Potentially Arsenal, strong links with him. And obviously we've got, you've got Bellingham, and De Jong. They're all about the same age. They've all had about 15, 16 appearances this season. They've all had goal and assist involvement, but nothing really out there. One name I don't want to forget is Enzo Fernandez. I think that I'm just going to throw that in the mix as well, because Jude's heavily been linked to Liverpool, as somebody's just said, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Want Champions League football, mate, not Championship. Andy, that's exactly why he's going to go to United and not Liverpool. Because Liverpool are out this season. They're going to be fighting for Europa at the best. So, absolutely, yeah. But no, I think, you have to wonder with these rumours with Elanga linked with Borussia Dortmund, is there some sort of two-way conversation going on even now? You don't know what's coming from that. So just a little thought out there. They want Elanga wants to go there. Are we going to start a little bit of negotiation tactics? You can keep him if you like him at the end of the season, and we'll take your Bellingham who's going anyway. So who knows? I think Bellingham would make a difference in midfield. He scores goals, but he's not. You've seen him for England as well. He's not afraid to get involved, to make the runs, to get the assists. He tracks back, tackles, gets forward. He is a bit box to box. Frenkie de Jong. I think my only issue is what really happened behind the scenes. Because through management, money, whatever, then absolutely let's bring De Jong in. It wasn't his fault. He wanted to come. We really think he'll I just don't know if with most Rice's price is inflated just because he's British, as has always been the case. So from that perspective, I wouldn't want to pay the same for him as I could for somebody else. Because he's Premier League proven. Absolutely, I get that. But I just wonder if he'd fit into Ten Hag's style. I think Casemiro at the moment, he's Rolls Royce, isn't it? It's simple as that.
Yeah.
So anybody
for a partner.
Yeah, and that's it. You've got Eriksen and you've got Casemiro, and arguably two of our best players this season. You could obviously put Rashford in there, no doubt whatsoever, and you can put some others in there as well. And I think that's one of the things about this season. You look at the whole squad. You haven't got a standout player. For many years, you get to the Player of the Year award, and everybody knows who it's going to be. This year, you get some different opinions if you called it right now. You get Rashford, you get Casemiro. Before Dalot got injured, you'd have picking Dalot. You were picking Martinez, picking Shaw. De Gea is having his best season for a long time as well. So
I think that is testament to what Ten Hag's done in the 29 games, 29, only 29.
Exactly.
That is actually had us playing. I mean, look, out of those three midfielders, I think Bellingham's probably the one on everybody's lips. But I'll be honest, I would look to take Declan Rice. I just feel that because he can do both roles, as in the Casemiro role that we've got and the Eriksen role, to a probably a lesser creative extent than Eriksen, but physically getting around the pitch, I'm comparing him to Fred. Fred, his football ability is very low in my opinion, but his athleticism and getting around the pitch is good. So if we had that with Declan Rice, then I'm thinking, okay, he could play with Casemiro, but then if Casemiro didn't play, we could also play Declan Rice with Eriksen because he could do the. So I'm more looking at dual positions with Bellingham.
Yeah.
Bellingham is I would look at Bellingham like a Brian Robson to us, the complete midfielder. He does everything, but I'm just not sure we're in that race. To be fair, I think
I do think it depends on where we finish this season.
You think? I mean, I see. I look at football deals not being done in the 3-week transfer window. There's been so much talk about Liverpool, the Henderson chat, blah blah blah, that I feel that that's the deal, or that's the deal that's been done in the background. But as you said already, he's not going to go to Liverpool to be playing Europa League football. You know,
No,
and that's the advantage that we may have
come the end of the
this
season,
season.
yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
is
mean, there's
weird.
only there's
So
only 10 points in it at the moment. I get that, and that can disappear in a matter of weeks. Absolutely, between us and Liverpool. But that aside, joking aside, at the moment we are in a strong position, and I don't think that Ten Hag's is going to let us kind of sit back now. I mean, I'm not quite sure what. So I'm just reading Emma's comment there, but
mm,
yeah, I'm not quite sure what Ten Hag's going to do next, because his players did look tired, and we've got arguably one of the biggest games of the season. I think
coming up,
a
yeah,
lot came out of us in the City game. We just definitely didn't seem up for it yesterday. You were watching the game, and I was excited beforehand, but shortly after it started, I was just like,
bloody hell.
yeah, I just didn't feel like
Mm.
it was going anywhere. I thought, what's going on here? I was watching at half time. I says to my wife, says, he needs to change something, but I don't actually know what. I don't know what he needs to. Normally, you can say, "Oh, they need to speed the passing up."
We had our
But
best team out there yesterday. I think that's
yeah,
probably what it was. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, apart from maybe the central forward, but when you look, normally you can see that the passing isn't quick enough. It's not smooth enough. It's sloppy. You can pinpoint something that needs to be changed, but I just couldn't. I couldn't pinpoint it yesterday. I was watching it and I'm just thinking, I'm not
Too
quite sure.
easy. Do you
I
think
wasn't.
the second half in? I don't know. We didn't look like we wanted to score the second goal. I know
Yeah,
we've drifted, guys. I know in the chat we've drifted back. We've drifted back
yeah.
to the
Sorry,
game.
can't help it.
We'll be drifting back. We'll probably be drifting back the whole show. To be fair, T to the Izzo. Welcome to the channel, man. The fact that we're so gutted about a draw shows how far we've come in a short space of time. I mean, exactly,
Exactly that. That's exactly,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly what we
that's
said at the
that's
beginning of the
a
show.
great point.
Spot on.
Yeah, great point. Let's have a look at this one. Another one from T to the Izzo here. Casemiro can play as a single number 6. No point in playing 100 million for Rice when he'll probably be a sub. Kane will decline physically in the next 2 years. Waste of money. Did he say Kane? Okay, we didn't talk about Kane, but yeah, we can do. Vincent, our Dutch correspondent here, he said something about Casemiro. Us play Peter. It is. This is the one. Hi guys. Funny to see that fans were surprised that Eric Ten Hag used Casemiro. When he says he wants to win every games, he means it. Get used to the single-minded nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah, yeah, definitely. Guys in the chat, we've got 26 in the chat, please. 26 likes if possible. But what I do want to know, out of those three, who you're taking? Casemiro. We already got Casemiro. We taking
Vincent
Rice,
Van Gogh.
Bellingham, or De Jong. We didn't talk about De Jong there. Do you think there's any chance that we're going to be back in for De Jong?
I think
This
the only way we're going for De Jong is if we know for certain the deal's possible, because we're not going to be made to look like an idiot again. We're not going to look like a scapegoat again. Absolutely not. Good evening, UK Strains. Yeah, we're not going to be made to look stupid again. If we go in for De Jong, it's because we know that the deal's going to be possible and we're not going to get messed around. Whatever happened behind the scenes, it will be cleared up beforehand. Ten Hag will know exactly where he stands with that situation. He'll know whether or not we can go in for him or not. Enzo Fernandez, heavily linked to Chelsea, very heavily linked, and he wasn't allowed to leave. I'm not looking as though he's going to leave this window now. Everyone's moved on to other targets, and so when United are bought out, hopefully before we get to the end of the season, before we get to the next window, then we'll have the money to spend, and we'll be able to spend big again, because it's clear that the Glazers just don't appear to be willing to spend now when it's clearly so close to being sold.
yeah.
Could be out their pockets, won't it?
They don't want to spend money on the old banger. MUFC, Realist TVs, it is his choice is De Jong. But I'm actually going to read out one of your messages. United should stay away from Kane. Watch Sky now till the end of the season and see how everybody yearns for Harry at Old Trafford move. Okay, fair enough. I thought you was going to be talking about something else.
I think one thing about Harry Kane, just very quickly, I think if you if you put him in the United team right now, I think he'd score his goals. But what I don't want to do, as somebody said a bit earlier, I don't want to spend 100 million on a striker who's aging, when we can spend that sort of money on somebody else. But we do need a striker. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Osimhen, I'd rather spend the money on him because he just looks fantastic. He looks
Everything.
amazing. So Rice. I mean, I've liked Rice for years. I just feel that he's gone off the boil this season, and what I want is someone who can make a difference to a team. And when you look at what West Ham's doing, I just feel that Rice at the moment isn't the player he was. Whether it's because he hasn't got the team around him, or what, I'm not sure. But if he can't make the difference when his team are really struggling and drag his team up, I feel like you stick Casemiro in West Ham right now, and I think he'd make the difference. And I think that's why I'm pausing on the Declan Rice situation.
Your choice is Jude.
Jude or De Jong, I think. I just think that. Yeah, I think that would be I think Jude is probably the one that I mean, don't forget we were really, really close to getting Jude Bellingham before he went to Dortmund. We'd done all the discussions, we'd had the negotiations, we'd even outbid Dortmund for him. But at the time, we just couldn't promise him the football that he needed. And
he made the right choice, to be fair, didn't he? He made the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, Borussia were very, very smart in what they did, because they were letting us flirt with them around Sancho and winding us up. And we ended up not getting Sancho that window, and during that window, Bellingham went to them. So they did a perfect window as far as they were concerned. The only difference was they didn't get as much as they wanted for Sancho in the end, because it was 6 months later. I agree with what Andrew Williams is saying. Rice has not had a good season. He's he was unreal last year. Absolutely, he was. He was absolutely fantastic. But my question is, why is his dip of form so this season?
Moyes. That's goal. Why they gave Moyes too much control of that club, mate.
1 goal, 2 assists. Yeah. Well, that's what he wanted at United, but he never got it, did he? So
and still killed us. The son of I'm not a Moyes fan, to be fair. I'm not a Moyes fan, to be fair. Guys in the chat, I'm looking. I don't see any Bellinghams here. I see a lot of Rice, to be fair. And it looks like we're all in agreement with Osimhen. A slight issue now. This is one that's really come left field today, Phil. Kevin Mbabu. I'm going to assume.
I saw it yesterday. I saw something in social media yesterday about it. If I'm honest, I don't know very much about the player at all, so I couldn't really comment on him as an individual. But what I would say is Wan-Bissaka, I don't want him to leave. When you look at, I know he couldn't get in the squad at the beginning of the season, but when you look at the statistics just from the last few seasons, he's had the highest tackle success rate. Amongst the top 2 or 3 in all 5 European leagues. And so you think, well, what is it? Why couldn't he get in the team? Yeah, Dalot was favoured, maybe because of his height, and he was able to get forward better. And maybe we've seen that when Dalot is in the team, he's getting shots off and crosses in and things like that. But what Wan-Bissaka brings is he is a great defender, and we saw it. In my opinion, I don't know whether he got it or not. He was man of the match last night.
Yeah, by a mile,
by a countryman. And that tackle on Zaha. I mean, you've probably seen the social media today where Zaha's interviewed, and he said he looked over his shoulder, so Aaron coming in and thought, oh no. But for someone of Zaha's quality to know that, oh no, this guy's coming for me, that put that seed of doubt in his mind. Yeah. And he was tackled. He was in that moment. That's all it took. So, absolutely. But I think Wan-Bissaka, I'd love to see him stay. I think he was like linked to go this window with the Dalot injury. It came at the perfect time for him, because he probably didn't want to leave. He just wanted a chance to play for United, and he's getting that now, and he's certainly putting the performances in.
I mean, this is the part that is kind of worrying me, because if a deal has been lined up with Aaron Wan-Bissaka to go, I'm going to assume whatever fee that was agreed is the fee that they're going to pay. And the last 4 games that he's played for us, he's probably added a 4 or 5 million to his price tag. I mean, the first game he played, he had the volleyed assist, didn't he? where he ran
Yeah,
down the
yeah,
wing. It's going,
yeah.
right. That's not a one Aaron Wan-Bissaka trait. Against Man City, he did a kind of drag back side pirouette where
Yeah,
he had
yeah,
Rodri still flying down.
yeah.
And then yesterday, he hasn't lost any of the tackling ability, the tackling that we
Tackling, yeah,
thought he
yeah.
had. But now the part that we doubted in his game, the getting forward, the getting up the pitch, the being creative, he's now added that to his game.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
So
He's really
uh,
developed under Ten Hag,
yeah,
really has.
and again, see, again, all
In the
the
background
players
again, innit? Yeah.
have all been improved. So I'm thinking, geez, don't go now to get another right back. I mean, Imbabu, uh, um, the fact that he can't get into Fulham and he's been there 6 months is the part. I don't care that he cost 6 million. That's the part that's bothering me. He can't get into a Fulham side.
The only thing I would say, and I know I might get slated for this in the comments, when we bought Chris Smalling from Fulham for 11 million, I think it was, we were like, oh, he can't get in the Fulham side, and he came for us. And to be fair, for a few seasons, he was brilliant. He was one of our best defenders.
Mm.
He was. I know it. At the end, it petered out, sort of thing. But when he first came in, he was different in a side. So maybe Ten Hag's seen something in him. What we have to say about Ten Hag is every one of his signings he's made so far has been
Bang on.
mint. Simple as that, because he knows what he's after. He sees a quality, whether it's on the pitch, off the pitch, both. He's looking at both. He wants to see what sort of character, what background they've got, what they can bring to the game, what the mentality is, what their attitude is. And if somebody can't get in the Fulham side and we can get them for cheap and we get a chance to develop them, 6 million, give it a go if that's what it takes. Absolutely. So if it's just about another backup because Dallow's on an injury that we don't know about, it's a bit long term or something, or there's risk, or we are at the moment, we are still in 4 competitions regardless of what the tables say. We are still in 4 competitions, so why should we not have the squad ready to compete in that? And if you can get, I'm not being funny, we bought Malacia 15. That was a bargain, for me.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. But
yeah.
again, Ten Hag knew what he wanted, went out, got the player. Everyone's like, whoa, who's he? He's brilliant. Where's he come from? Maybe you've seen him for PSV, you know a bit about him, but Anthony for 100 million showing early signs of being one of the worst signings in history. I don't think he didn't cost 100 million in the end, did he? Was it 76, something like that? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's the worst signing in history at all. He's already got 4 goals, 5 goals, I think it is.
5 in 10, 5 in 11 starts. Yeah.
So it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, he's still developing his game, and he's got 5 goals already this season, and he won against Arsenal. So let's see what happens.
Realist. This is my point. MUF3 read. The only player I have seen that's not been progressing under Tekars is Scotty Mac. Don't know if he's reached his peak of the development. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I think with McTominay, I think at the end of the day, he was one of those players a few seasons ago. He split the fan base on opinion because he was coming out. United were playing awful, but he was coming off the pitch at the end, fuming, in interviews, slating his team, saying it's not good enough, we're not good enough, while Maguire's going, well, we tried our best and we did all right, and actually, McTominay's going, no, we were terrible, this is not good enough for United, and he was showing the passion, and some people were saying, oh, future captain and stuff like that. And I think what he brought on the pitch, you'll think back to his Leeds game where he scored 2 or 3 goals against Leeds and stuff. He's had moments of brilliance, but he's not got consistency. And I think under Ten Hag, I think he's just like, you can't see someone develop because you've got Casemiro. So you're not going to see Casemiro replaced by McTominay. You might see it on Sunday. You might see it on Sunday against Arsenal because, I don't know who the starting lineup's going to be, whether it's going to be Fred, who's a bit more attacking. He usually brings Fred on, what he's been doing when he takes Eriksen off, isn't he? When he wants to keep that momentum up top without getting too defensive. So I'm not sure he's going to start with Fred and Eriksen. I think he's more likely to start with McTominay and Eriksen.
Jesus Christ.
So it'd be interesting to see whether or not he has developed under Ten Hag. And we've just not had a chance to see it because Casemiro has been the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, he top drawer. To be fair, look, I'm hoping Aaron Wan-Bissaka stays. I really do want him to stay.
Yeah,
Um, at least until the end of the season. I think
yeah,
he's
yeah.
earned that right. I think he's proved
Absolutely has.
that he's Man United quality for this season. So I hope he stays and we just focus on something else. I mean, look, we've got the forward cover that we wanted. I still think we probably need central midfield cover. I still think we probably need another central midfielder, but it's what the club can afford or what's available. And if not, then maybe he'll have to go with what he's got.
I believe at the moment we need another. I still wanted to see us. I posted it last night on social media. I was half joking, but at the same time I meant it. I still wanted to see us get Memphis because I think his
Really?
movement and his pace and his style. Yeah, just for the 5 million that he's going for, 4 million. Why not? Do you know what I mean? Because I think he would have been. I think he would have made a difference up
Mm.
top where we're lacking that at the moment through injury, through the likes of obviously Martial being injured and stuff like that. Ronaldo going. I don't believe that we've got someone who sniffs goals. Um, whether or not Weghorst turns out to be the player, I don't know. He just didn't look it. He looked short of pace. He looked short of movement. He looked short of desire. But he'd only played 70 minutes and had 2 training days with the team. So you can't expect too much in your first game at all. But Ten Hag, like we said, every signing he's made so far has been good, been successful. So long may that continue. And he knows what he's doing. We can't deny that.
Oh yeah, no, that can't be denied. What also can't be denied is, boy, looks like we're out of time already, boy. That flew, Phil.
Sorry
That
about
that,
that.
that flew, man. We've got to get you on, man. I need to dig your brains a few more. We'll get you on in another couple of weeks, man. Because
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
yeah,
be back
yeah,
any. I'll be love to come back anytime.
yeah, man. Look, just as I said, look, we do. Anytime I see you with that wall, that backdrop, I know where you are now. So don't worry about it, man. I got you back.
It's a
I
real
got you.
one.
I got you back. So Phil, hold on. Let me get you on solo. There we go. Where can we find you, big man?
So on social media at Phil Standish or F Ball Philosophy, and just starting a new YouTube channel with Football Philosophy 2023. But it's just kind of sign up at the moment, and then I can be able to do some live shows as well. But I appreciate you having me on. It's been fantastic. Really enjoyed the chat. Great comments from everybody. Thank you for all the shout outs, for joining us live. Really appreciate it. And all the questions. It's really good. Made a great show. Really enjoyed it.
Ah, good man, good. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, man. Phil, as I said, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Guys in the chat, I know, listen, I didn't have much messages up, but I noticed that you guys were kind of talking amongst yourselves. So I didn't want to interrupt you while you were supposed to be watching me and Phil. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were doing your talking. So, guys, as always, it's me, Mr. B, on the agenda. I'm going to say goodbye. Please be safe. We will see you all tomorrow. What day is it today? Tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Takeaway. Yeah, Friday. My baby's on the takeaway, Friday night takeaway. We've got a Premier League roundup preview, and don't forget, guys, we've got the preview for the game against the Gooners on Sunday that Solo's going to be hosting. So full weekend of shows, guys. So hit that notification bell. We've got the shows up already. So look, just hit that notification bell. Again, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Phil, as I said already, it's been a pleasure, guys, in the chat. I always say you don't have to be here, but you are. This is me, Mr. B. Phil, signing out. Thank you
Thank you very
very much.
much. Good night,
Cheers.
everyone.
Bye.